We shot a Nike commercial, and honestly, it's probably the most unpredictable shoot I have ever done. And we had to cover like 4 locations in just 2 days, with only 4 hours per spot. The idea behind this commercial was really simple, to show perseverance, pain, and progress. I chose 4 sports: running, tennis, CrossFit, and soccer, or football for the non-US people. But the focus wasn't on glory, it was about the process, repetition, struggle, and effort. Because success doesn't come easy, and that's exactly what it makes it meaningful. To stay efficient on sets, I built the entire pre-production on Milanotes, from the mood boards to the reference, the shot list for each port, all the budgets and the schedule. Everything was mapped out. I also handled all the wardrobe myself. I bought everything online through Nike's official store and other platforms that we have in France. I was looking for very specific pieces to match the color palette that I had in mind. Each athlete needed a touch of blue to create a complementary contrast with the red of the running track, the dusty tones of the tennis court, and to stand out beautifully against the green from the soccer field. And those choices with all the clothes was really important because it really tied the world together. It is subtle but deeply intentional. Like always, we shot everything on our FX3, and it was rigged, this time with a prototype of a product my friend Guillaume is creating. It's an all-in-one cage that gave us everything we needed to mount accessories quickly and efficiently. The LiDAR, the monitors, the VLOC, the motors for the transmitter. It made everything super compact and reliable, especially with the amount of movement we had in this project. And speaking about transmitter, we strongly use the solid CineView Master 4K. They did an incredible job without latency, 4K resolution, and it gave us the possibility to have multiple monitors with our phone because they use the wireless solution that come with an app. For the lenses, we use a mix of Dzo vespid prime with the 16mm, the 25 and the 50, and an Iron Glass, the MIR 1V. It's a 37mm, and that combo may sound weird, but it created exactly what I love: the sharpness and precision of a modern glass, combined with the imperfect, organic texture of a vintage optic. It was actually my first time using the Iron Glass MIR 1V, and I completely fell in love with its creamy look. So thank you Iron Glass to send me this optic. All the running sequences were planned for sunrise and sunset, and the forecast looked great until the night before. The weather started changing every hours, and no luck. The first morning we began with running, and the sun never showed up. The sky was completely flat, and every 10 minutes the lights changed. And this spec ad was my own money. I didn't add any sponsor or anything, so every setback was order to take. But that's when my crew made all the difference. They lift me up, helped me rethink everything, and we decided to stop fighting the weather. My main goal was to keep strong contrast in the image, especially on the face. So what we did is to mostly use natural light. Since the athlete was constantly moving, we didn't add any way to follow air with our lights, and no sun to bounce, of course. I focus on keeping air backlit whenever possible, and for slower static shot, we added a 500 watts, a floppy and a wide bounce to shape the image a bit more. And it worked quite well, but we took some lights, so we had to jump straight away in the tennis scenes. And that location was slightly easier because we could finally shape the lights. We started with the wide shots while we still had decent light. I always go for the wides first. They are the hardest to fake, while medium in close-up are easier to adjust and shape.
Quand tu veux.
We took again our 500 watts, a bounce and a floppy to sculpt her face and body, to add shape to the scene despite the constant mix of sun and rain. And because our talent, Flavie, wasn't a real tennis player, we tried to avoid too many full body and wide shots.
Action.
So we cheated a little and made way more close-up and mid shots. Like that, it looked way more dynamic than it was in reality. So yeah, we tweaked a little bit the reality to make it better. I really wanted the top-down shots to put at the end of the spec. So we improvised something with what we had. It was like a Frankenstein setup. Honestly, I was a bit scared to use it because from the distance, what we just saw was the tripod bending like hell with my camera at the top of it, and it was really painful to watch, but it worked. Day 2, we started with a football scene, under a heavy rain. We used the same approach as for running, mostly natural light for all the wide and all the really action scene where we weren't able to use any light to follow air. But when we add them, like the other, we directly goes to the medium and close-up with our lights and some bounce and floppy. Football was a challenge because we only had one player on screen, and creating a workout of football with only one player can be quite tricky.
Action.
So what I decided to go with is create a sort of workout with some dribble and stuff with some close-up, only seeing the ball or the leg. And after that, all the soccer scenes are around the gesture, the eyes, how she look at the cage and stuff like that. Because soccer is closing the spec, so it is really important to have some strong image. And in some way, it helped us too, because the weather was really shitty. So shaping the light with only close-up and medium gave us all the possibilities to create what we had in mind. And speaking about closing the ad, the final shot, guys. It took us about 30 minutes to just get the ball to hit the net and land perfectly in front of the camera with the right motion blur, the whoosh of Nike between the nets.
Pointard. Tu vois? Pointard. Attends. Ouais, pointard.
Oh!
Oh!
The CrossFit scenes was our last one, and finally an indoor setup, safe from the weather and everything that can go around. But ironically, it turned out to be the most challenging of the four, because we only had 4 hours again, but this time with a lighting setup in that huge gym, and it took forever. The ceiling was way too high to control properly, and we had to think smarter. That's why I decided to shoot into a corner, to limit the space and make lighting faster. It was not the best decision visually, of course, because we lost a lot of information and cool stuff, but I had to think only in terms of time saving, and for this it was the best decision. But there is some positive point, because being inside helped us a lot about the contrast, because we was able to shape and create whatever we want. So I really tried to go straight forward with the lighting. The lighting setup for the CrossFit scene was in reality quite simple. We used only like 4 lights. The main key light was a f22 on the side, motivated by the practical in the ceiling. We decided to create and craft a book light, but just to fill all the corner and the room and the space. It was quite interesting to make that to be really evenly lit, but still maintaining details and shadow with a heavy contrast. And in the back, create a sort of air lights and edge lights to make air separate from the background with the blue wall. And we add some green in the frame because there is some flower on the wall, so it was quite a nice touch to make her separate from the background, mostly for the face, for the portrait shots at the end when we do the short the match cut. But the most exciting part was the POV shot. We needed the camera to lift with the bar during a clean and jerk, so we will get it with some big clamps and small rig parts. We stripped down the FX3 to the minimum setup, and somehow it worked perfectly, and I really believe this shot is quite cool and it had a lot of dynamism in the sequence. This Nike spec ad was a real challenge in the pre-production phase, from the wardrobe to the managing all the talent, all the location, the budget that was really tight, and of course the weather that just changed everything and made us racing to all the plan and all the shortlists we had. but it gave me a lot of experience, and again it showed me that sometimes you just have to let it go to create. And it just showed me that spec ads, again, are so important to create. But I will make a video about that because there is a lot to say about spec ad and how it can just help you to grow your business, your confidence, your creativity, and gave you so much just with the personal projects. I hope you liked this little behind the scene. I didn't went really deep into the lighting setup because I plan to do a video about it. Anyway, let me know in comment if you have any question. I will do my best, like always, to answer every one of you. And until next time, guys, go create with passion. Bye.